Doing hard things changes you. Not because you suddenly become fearless, but because you realize you were capable all along. Growth doesn't usually happen when life feels comfortable. It happens when you're sitting in the driver's seat with butterflies in your stomach, deciding to do it anyway. I still remember the first time I went off-roading and rock crawling for 3 hours in the mountains of California. I had butterflies in my stomach the entire drive there, but underneath the nerves, I was genuinely excited. Excited for the challenge, excited for finally being able to do what I would love to always have done in the mountains. Excited to see what me and my Rubicon were capable of doing. And honestly, I think part of me needed that adventure more than I realized. Now, I wasn't alone out there. I was with 3 friends who had way more experience than I did, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't aware of that. There's definitely a moment when you realize people are watching you. These are guys watching you, waiting to see if you can actually do this, especially when you're a woman who's 60 years old. It really wasn't that bad. These guys were really cool. And they didn't put pressure on at all. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, Sherry, just trust yourself. You've got this. The trails were no joke either. They were wild with incredible views. Big rocks, steep climbs, uneven terrain, the kind of stuff that gets your full attention really quick. And then there were moments where I could feel that little voice in my head wanting to second guess myself. But at the same time, another part of me was excited by it. Not reckless, not fearless, just willing. Willing to try, willing to learn, willing to get really uncomfortable instead of talking myself out of the experience. And the wild thing is, once I actually started doing it, something shifted. My mindset shifted. Every obstacle I made it over gave me a little more confidence. Every rock climb reminded me to stay calm and focused, and every challenge made me trust myself a little more. Just like this one right here. I was present in the moment, not worrying what the guys thought of me. I was a mountain off-roader newbie, and I knew it, and I didn't care if they knew it. And honestly, that's where the empowerment came from. Not because I suddenly became some expert off-roader overnight, but because I pushed through the nervousness and proved to myself that I could handle more than I thought. I think sometimes people assume confidence comes first, but most of the time, confidence is built while you're doing the hard thing. While you're nervous, while you're uncomfortable, while you're still figuring it out as you go. That Jeep crawl, that Jeep trail up in the mountains, it taught me something really important about myself. I realized how much growth exists on the other side of simply being willing to try and not being fearful of failure. And I think a lot of us spend too much time waiting until we feel fully ready before we go after experiences we want deep down inside. But if I would have waited until I felt perfectly confident, perfectly prepared, perfectly experienced, I probably never would have done it. I would have let one of the guys drive my Jeep. And now when I look back on that experience, I don't think about whether I did everything perfectly. I think about how alive I felt. I think about the mountains, the adrenaline, the laughter, the challenge, the feeling of doing something that pushed me outside of my comfort zone. And I think about how proud I was afterward. because there's something really powerful about proving things to yourself, not to social media, not to other people, not to impress anyone, just to yourself. That experience reminded me that life gets a whole lot bigger when you stop letting anxiety and nervousness talk you out of doing things. Sometimes the best moments happen when you simply say, you know what? I'm doing it anyway. You know what? I've got this. You know what? I can do it. And you know what? I did.